What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of Show Me Football, covering your Kansas City Chiefs, and we're going to be talking about the good and the bad news from the latest injury report leading up to the Chiefs versus the Texans critical matchup this Sunday. All that and more right after this. Ladies and gentlemen of the Chiefs Kingdom, welcome back into another video here on the Show Me Football YouTube show. Before we get into things, I do kindly want to ask you all to please like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this, and go ahead and hit that notification bell as well, for future Chiefs content. But without further ado, let's get into the latest injury report for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Houston Texans. We'll talk the good, the bad, some potential silver linings with the Chiefs situation heading into this game. We know that this weekend's game is a must win for the Kansas City Chiefs. They have to win every single game the rest of the way if they hope to make the NFL playoffs. And it's crazy that we're saying that about this team after everything they've accomplished over the last 5 to 6 years since the start of the Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid era. But that's the reality. The reality is staring all of us in the face right now that this Chiefs team could miss the playoffs. And they have a very big challenge this weekend against the Houston Texans team, who has had their own struggles, but man, their matchup creates somewhat of a nightmare for the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's talk about it. So the biggest storyline surrounding the Kansas City Chiefs injury-wise heading into this game is, of course, the fact that they're probably going to be down 3 starting offensive linemen in this game. It is not a good situation. We already know that Josh Simmons had surgery on his left wrist, and he's going to miss probably a significant amount of time. Has not officially been placed on IR yet, I don't believe, as of the time I'm making this video, but the 2 guys we see on the injury report here, also on the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs, are starting right guard Trey Smith and starting right tackle Juwan Taylor. Both were DNPs on Thursday. They have not practiced at all this week. It's looking like they're not going to play. And we know the rule with Andy Reid: you don't practice, you don't play. And it just feels like it would be a miracle if either of those guys were ready, which means the Kansas City Chiefs most likely will have Wanye Morris at left tackle and Jalen Moore at right tackle this Sunday against the Houston Texans' vaunted pass rush that includes Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. And I got to say, guys, I'm scared of that one. I'm scared of that one for sure. Now, I'm going to put out a video probably sometime tomorrow, not too long after this one, discussing what I think about this matchup, who I think is going to win. But one of the key points I'm going to hit on in that video is the Texans defensive line versus this Chiefs offensive line. We know how much Wanye Morris has struggled in the past at times when he's had to step in. Jalen Moore, I think he's a very good backup. He's a very good number 6 offensive lineman. But, I mean, at some point, it's just the straw that broke the camel's back when it comes to the Chiefs offensive line. However, a positive piece of news is that Brian Cook has been a full participant all week in practice with that ankle injury. If you guys remember, he had to leave the game against the Dallas Cowboys after tweaking his ankle. And you could kind of feel the defense just start to decline after he left the lineup. Something didn't feel quite right after he was out. The defense started playing worse. It's huge that they get Brian Cook back, especially for their third down defense, because this defense could not get off the field against the Dallas Cowboys on third down. And say what you want about the Houston Texans offense, but if you don't have the right personnel out there on third down, and that's somewhere the Chiefs have really struggled this year defensively, is on third down. I'm going to talk about some of those numbers tomorrow, probably in my pregame predictions, but third down has been a problem for this team. So Brian Cook coming back at least is a little bit of good news. You see Chris Roland Wallace was DNP. That scares me a little bit because that probably means we're going to see more Jamari Connor. We've seen how that has gone so far this year. But outside of that, everyone else has been a full participant that is on the injury report. So a little bit of good news for the Kansas City Chiefs to go with the sour news about the offensive line. Now we're going to look at the Houston Texans injury report here in a second and talk about maybe some potential advantages that the Chiefs could have in this game based on that. But before we get to that, we are going to take a moment to check out this special message from our partners here on this show. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check that out. My Missouri fans are going to love this. Let's see it.
One touchdown can change everything. The crowd, the momentum, the game itself, it never gets old. Feel that same rush with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Missouri listeners, listen up. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in the Show Me State. Here's the best part. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SHOWPICK. That's code SHOWPICK. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Sports betting officially live in the state of Missouri. Exciting times for you all. Go ahead and take advantage of our deal going on with DraftKings. But back to the video topic. So if we take a look here at the Houston Texans injury report, now starting defensive end, Will Anderson, that one sticks out. He was a limited participant on Thursday after being a DNP on Wednesday, but it does sound like he's trending towards playing. So not exactly the break you'd like to see for the Chiefs offensive line going up against that pass rush. But the other really big one we see on here is starting cornerback Kamari Lassiter, one of the best young corners in the game, has a foot injury. He's a DNP on Wednesday, DNP again on Thursday. He's trending towards not playing, which means that can be a major advantage for the Kansas City Chiefs if they're missing Kamari Lassiter. Again, one of the best young corners in the game. And we know that the Chiefs offense needs to get something going. They need to get something going consistently. And the wide receivers have not quite been as good as we all expected them to after getting Rashee Rice back and healthy. We thought once that happened, it would make life easier for everyone else. Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Tyquan Thornton, but it just hasn't had the effect that we all thought. And the wide receivers aren't getting open against man coverage consistently enough. They're not giving Mahomes enough of a safety outlet consistently, but if they're down one of their starting corners, of course, they still have Derek Stingley on the other side. But the big thing with the Texans defense is they had those guys on both sides to shut down other teams' passing attack. But Kamari Lassiter would be a huge loss and somewhere that the Kansas City Chiefs could maybe find a little bit of success offensively. We talked about the defense, how much they've been struggling, but the offense was basically non-existent for 2 quarters against the Dallas Cowboys. And I think that is more so what killed them in that game, because by the end, it was just too little too late. And that was a bad Cowboys defense. So can the Chiefs get something going offensively with this being the case? We'll just have to see. But that's the latest injury news. We'll get one last injury report tomorrow and get a clearer picture on who's going to play, who's not going to play. And I'll probably talk about that a little bit more in my pregame predictions as well. So be on the lookout for that. But I'm going to go ahead and end this one there. Definitely let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below, what your thoughts are on these latest injury reports. Some good news, some bad news. We'll see how it all plays out. All that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. You can check out my work on showmefootball.com. Follow the X at showmefb. That's all I got for this one. I'll see you all in the next one. And as always, go Chiefs.